And hello, everybody, and welcome to the Jcast Experience. I am Jay Wade, and last night I went into town to meet up with Drew so we could record the second episode of the show. And, well, what happened is he asked me a question just before we started to record, and it got us completely derailed, blew our plans, no episode that we had in mind. But we did have a very interesting discussion concerning everything that we're doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and play that for you, and, well, I don't know, we'll see what happens come next week. Enjoy. All right. Here with Drew again. And we're sitting here talking about stuff, and we're trying to figure out if we should cuss or not.
It's hard to decide, but we got to be who we are. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we're sugarcoating it, then to me, it's like the discussion we had earlier about bands changing from one style just to become popular or whatever, you know, sell records, make money, which is also, I mean, obviously a goal if you're trying to be a professional musician, but I don't think we're really, you know, fucking trying to be a professional.
Right.
So,
and my thoughts were, you know, that not everyone wants to hear people cussing, and I can understand that and respect that, and that, you know, give people a dose of just without all the language and stuff, and just like so they can hear what's actually being said. But then I think about it and I'm like, if you can't see past how it's being said to recognize what's being said, then fucking I don't give a shit, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
It ain't for you anyway.
Well, I mean, pretty much you have to express yourself the way you do. It's just an adjective to make words more superior than others.
Yeah.
Like awesome, that's a good word. Makes you feel good. But fucking awesome, that's way better. We know that's the tops.
Yeah.
That's how I'm looking at it.
Well, and I don't even realize that I cuss, to be honest, anymore. I mean, but what's funny is I realize that I cuss a lot, but I don't think about it. But that kid mode and parent mode, it is there, dude. I just know, like, in those, I've been trained over the years. I've been trained.
Well, with my parents, of course, you know my parents.
Right.
I speak the same way I would with you or anyone else, just because, I don't know, I treat them with the same respect as any of my friends or family that I love anyway. I mean, that's who I am. I'm going to be who I am with them.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, though. There's those situations, like say you're going in for a job interview, for instance, you know, where it's like, I don't want to really sit there and just go off with, you know, F-bombs and then like totally trash mouthing it. Obviously, I'm not going to get the job.
Exactly.
You know?
Wait till you get the job and then loosen up a little bit after you get a feel for who's who. And
yeah, exactly.
you got to listen for who cusses and who does. See, that's why I'm always really quiet when I first get a job. I mean, for like a week or two, like,
oh yeah,
I'm quiet, dude, and that's because I'm listening to people. I'm figuring out who's cool, who's not, who I need to watch myself around and stuff like that. And
exactly, there's assholes out there. You do not want to just start making friends with them, and all of a sudden you find out that's not who you should have been with.
Right.
You know, and then not to mention you're trying to learn, so it's best to be quiet and listen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
At least that's how I feel. I know people that won't shut the hell up when you're sitting there trying to teach them how to do something, and it's like, are you actually paying attention? But anyway, it's also fun to know that there's people at work that you can cuss around.
Yep.
And after you get the job, obviously, but that you can cuss around.
Yes.
And just really just bullshit with in general. That's one of my favorite things about going to work and just trying to make it fun.
Yeah.
But normally I work in a man-heavy industry when I do, so cussing's like it's almost like another part of the language that you have to know, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, I draw the line at outside socialization with coworkers. I refuse to do it. I've had coworkers ask me, and I've had to tell them flat out that I'm sorry, but I'm here to work, and I have enough friends in my real life that I never see, so I'm not
Sure.
really looking to hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
I just want to go to work, go home, and fucking enjoy myself, dude, and do whatever the hell it is that I want to do.
Well, yeah. And I think that sometimes you'll find, lifelong friends in work, but there's other times where it's more of a good acquaintance,
Right, right.
and that's the majority.
Hmm.
Because most of the time, for instance, just being at a job, if you guys are on the same level, next thing you know, somebody gets promoted, and it could be off of something they said or did or whatever it was. Then all of a sudden, that kind of
Mm,
tarnishes a friendship in a way. It's best to
yeah,
kind of stay more just work friends, and really get along at work,
yeah,
and then have a separate life. That's what keeps you sane anyway. To me, is
yeah, true.
you leave work at work, you leave home at home while you're at work. So I mean, that's it just helps you stay level all the way around. But it really helps to get to work, and especially in a lot of the industries I'm in, you can yell and cuss and nobody can hear you over top of the machines or whatever. But yeah, I really loved and enjoyed some of my coworkers, and I had a couple at my wedding, as a matter of fact.
That's cool.
but
Well, when
but
you,
they were big guys, and they were just super friendly, but yet hard workers, and stood up for what was right. I mean, these were good people. It's hard to meet like those types of people at every job. I've worked all kinds of jobs, and that's probably the most places I've ever found is working for the cabinet factory there. There's good people in there. Of course, they're from around here usually, but they all cuss just like us.
yeah,
I'll tell you that.
when you were saying about cussing at work and stuff, and got me to thinking, well, what places are acceptable in public to cuss? And one place that I thought of that isn't, that I still did one time, that, but it was 19 years ago, dude. I was 18,
Oh
so
wow,
um,
showing his
was
age.
down at a baseball game somewhere that I'm not gonna say because I'm completely ashamed that I acted the way I did. We were 13 rows up behind home plate, and someone had recently come to the team, and he wasn't meeting expectations, and I heckled him the entire game, and I cussed, and I feel really, really bad about it. I genuinely do. I mean, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
chuckle about it because it's memories of when I was a dumb kid, but now
Well,
I
sure.
understand the complete and utter disrespect to not only him, but I mean, the people sitting all around me.
Well, sure. Exactly.
And
It's a baseball game. There's
yeah,
probably kids that might have been within earshot.
yeah.
For all we
So
know. I
other
don't
than
know.
bars, I don't know where is it acceptable to cuss in public?
Well, I was sitting here thinking about that when you brought it up because we're watching Trailer Park Boys right
Ah,
now,
yes, yes.
and Ricky says he asked the judge if he can cuss because he cannot talk and get his
Yep.
thoughts through without being able to cuss, and that makes it more. That makes me stand behind. We should be able to cuss on this. So now that I think and know Ricky's stand on that, I'm with him.
Yeah, which I completely understand how he feels. And I don't even realize I cuss most of the time, like I said, but
It's like saying take the word "the" out of your vocabulary. Now try to get your point
yeah.
across.
Well, your brother Tony, one time we were coming back from a show from somewhere, I can't remember where, and we were having fun, and we stopped at the gas station in there in West Alec, and we're in there, and I'm at the register, and I'm telling Tony, I'm pointing out these lighters with trippy designs on them, and I go, dude, I'm like, dude, these things look fucking fun, and the woman next to me, it was probably 2 in the morning. The woman next to me says, do you have to say that word? And I go, what word? And she goes, the F word. And serious as hell, dude, I'm thinking about what I said. And I go, what, fun? And she just looks at me and she goes, no, the other one. And I said, oh, fuck. Fuck no, I'm like, I gotta say that. But it's just that when confronted with the option of two words that both start with F, I didn't realize that it was the fuck word over fun that she was offended by.
Yeah, that probably should have been the first one you thought of.
Yeah.
But, that's awesome. And that's, I don't cuss in front of my grandma.
Right.
That type of deal. But if she chooses to listen to the podcast, then that's on her, I guess, at that point in time, right?
Yeah.
So
Pretty much. I mean, I feel bad for my mom, really bad. I don't know, dude. We might need to rethink this because, like, my mom would love to sit and listen to this, dude, but she would not enjoy the language whatsoever. I mean, for real,
Well.
I'm kind of rethinking this now, dude, because I love my mom, dude, and she would not appreciate it at all. She knows I have a filthy fucking mouth, dude, but
Oh yeah.
actually letting her hear a lot of it is a completely different thing, man.
Well, that's more or less, to me, that's just letting her hear you at your free speech and the way you want to say it. That's part of who you are.
Yeah.
My mom, her mom taught me how to cuss. She cussed like a sailor. It was unbelievable. But I remember the first time my mom cussed. We were driving down the road, and I believe it was an owl flew out in front of us on the way back from my basketball practice, and she dropped the F-bomb right there going down the road, and I said, "What'd you say?" And from there on, I mean, of course she raised 3 boys, and she had to be on a different type of demeanor, I guess, because we're very close in age as well.
Yeah.
But she has more of a guy's sense of humor, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. I don't want to be sexist about it, I guess, but that's how it is. It's a dirty guy's type sense of humor that you hear in the locker room, more or less.
I love chicks who cuss, dude. I
Yeah.
love it. Dude, there's nothing sexier than a chick who fucking says the word fuck,
Well,
dude.
my thing is who says that that's a cuss word anyway?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you just got me. I've always wanted, well, when you say that, I've always wanted someone to write a book about this, and then it's like, well, I should fucking do it.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to have a book that I could read. Well, of course, read Audibles. I'm a lazy bastard. I don't like reading anyway. But a book that compiles all the like swear words, curse words, like the bad words,
Yeah.
and goes to their origin of who the asshole is who decided for everybody else that fuck is a bad word or ass is. Why can we
sex.
say butt but not ass? Oh, fucking sex, butt, ass.
Yeah, I mean,
so I can say butt, tush, rear end, but I can't say ass.
I'm about to start saying sex, yeah.
Dude, hey, I'm down. That's sex and cool, man.
Oh, that is sexy awesome.
Shit, yeah, dude. But yeah, that's good. It would be cool to know. That's something you could never know, but I mean, it would be cool if we could really find out, like, who that asshole was that made it so that this is bad and this is acceptable, this is not. Shouldn't it all be in the context in which words are used and not the words themselves?
Well, exactly. That's exactly right. Well, like the word bitch, for instance. Some people use it just as a term of endearment, pretty much, more or less. And then other people use it in a different way. And it's extremely offensive.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you. It's all about the context in which it's being said.
Yep.
If you're just joking around, having a good time, shooting the shit as it was, I don't see anything wrong with that. But if you're doing it yelling at somebody and angrily, that's going to push my buttons. I'll tell you that right now.
Right.
I mean,
see, I'm thinking that a long time ago, like for me a long time ago is 15 years ago.
Sure.
I feel so old, but I'm so dumb because I'm not old. I just feel that way. I think I saw a special. I think George Carlin was actually the one that I heard that from about words are just words. It's the way you use them.
Yeah.
And because I don't know, no single word just alone has
Yeah.
has enough power to inflict damage upon anyone, dude.
Like, say you cleaned it up and told somebody to stick it up your butt. Would that make it any better? Or would it feel exactly the same?
That's a good example.
Because to me that would feel exactly the same if they said it angrily. I would take it angrily. It doesn't matter if they said ass or butt. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you mean the same thing.
Yeah. Unless they mean like actually stick it into my donkey. By saying ass,
man.
I don't.
Sucks,
You start taking literal meanings behind some things, I guess. I don't know, but
yeah. Well, that's one thing I always loved about not giving a shit sometimes is when you don't give a shit, then it tends to be a lot more fun and you can relax a bit more and
well, you could be yourself.
yeah.
That's the thing. It's not like we're sitting on here just trying to offend people with our language. I mean, there's definitely shows where it's like that. It's like,
Right.
let's see how many times we can throw the F word into this.
Right.
And like, let's just see it and see if we can offend people. Of course, I love the movie, but my first memory of a movie that was rated R because of cussing and nothing else really. There was no nudity, no murder, gruesome stuff. Was My Cousin Vinny,
Mm-hmm.
and it was. I mean, it was a great movie, but I mean, they said fuck probably 50 times,
Yeah.
and he does it because that's the way he talks, and he's just hard like that, I guess, but no, that's just the way he is, and that's kind of what we're talking about now. Like even just like Ray, he says it in court, and he's dropping F-bombs left and right. It's pretty hilarious if you ask me.
Yeah.
But it also that was the first one my parents ever let me watch. So obviously they seen it first and knew that he was saying those things in a different context as well. He wasn't saying them to be mean and things like that. He was just saying it, and it was actually pretty dang funny when he placed them in those spots. But he also had a problem with it where he probably should have stopped.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the first movie that my parents, I see, Mom, I'm sorry, you weren't bad parents whatsoever, but it was really cool that you let me watch this movie when I was so young. I was probably 5 or something. But where I was introduced to a lot of kind of language in a movie was the original Vacation.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
the end, toward the end, when he's going off in the car in the rain,
Oh, yeah.
you're gonna have fun. I'm gonna have fun. We're all gonna have so much fucking fun. And just, I mean, and I know that my parents were kind of like, oh no.
Oh yeah.
But how can you not know? To be honest, as the parent, you know who Chevy Chase is.
Sure.
You gotta know what's happening.
And there are
here.
guidelines to each standard. Like you can still be PG-13 and say the F word probably twice or 3 times. I forget what it is now.
Once. Well, no, more than once. So twice or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
You can say it one time in a PG-13.
Huh. So yeah, there is a limit. And I remember he said it again in Christmas Vacation when he was. Oh, his boss gave him the raise, and it was like Jelly of the Month Club.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And he's getting some eggnog and whatnot.
The Danny Kaye.
Yeah.
Tyrant or rant.
That was of course another great movie. Those vacation movies are great.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one thing I want to jump back to, you were saying you learned to cuss from your grandma.
Oh yeah.
Well, my folks didn't cuss, and my grandpa, the only thing he ever said was shit. And then, so I don't know. Why do you think I cuss and my parents didn't? Or why do you think, not just me even, why do you think, like,
Well, my
what
parents
makes
tried
people
not to as
cuss?
much as
Like, what
humanly
makes people
possible.
start to be like, I'm gonna be a cusser, where other people are like, I don't want to talk. I don't like that language. Because I
Well,
mean, I think
maybe
the
it's like
old school
smoking, where
answer
it's
would
like
be
you think,
religious, but I don't think that's
well,
it.
yeah.
Because I know religious folks who cuss, so that's not it. So, but there's got to be. What is it, dude?
Maybe it's when we were younger, like smoking, and you think maybe it was cool to cuss, and then it just becomes part of your vocabulary. I mean,
True.
I don't know, but seems like everybody our age does the same thing practically. But I know a lot of professionals that they don't do it at work or anything like that.
Right.
But
Right.
when we're sitting here talking, they'll talk probably not as filthy as I
Right.
do, but they'll still, I guess call it guy talk maybe. I don't know what you want to call it, but we'll call it guy talk. But just where you just feel comfortable enough to say whatever you feel like saying, and then maybe you just feel in the moment too. Like I don't cuss all the time when I'm like talking to my wife or anything like that. But maybe we just get excited while we're sitting here because we haven't talked to anybody all day or something like that. And
Right.
everything's amazing and everything's fucking awesome. You
Yeah. Like you said
know?
earlier, it's an enhance. It just enhances it, dude.
Well, sure.
I mean, do you want? Yeah, like dude. Do you want this cake, dude? It's awesome. And it's like the other devil pops up and he's like, hey, dude, you want this cake? It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going with the fucking awesome cake.
I mean, is it good or is it very good?
Yeah,
You
same thing, but
know?
there it is, dude. They're just words, man.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
just words. I don't understand what the big deal is.
And the thing is that people know what you're saying, and then
Yeah.
they still get angry about it.
And then their argument is, you don't have to say that though. Well, yes, I don't have to, but
The only time I ever feel real bad about it, and it's just, I guess, from being raised that way, is taking the Lord's name in vain while
yeah,
doing so.
yep, definitely.
But when I get very angry, you
Right.
know, it comes out, and sometimes it just comes out. But I try not to because that's not. I don't want that to be a habit by any means. But that's my own personal choice. That's not for everyone.
Yeah. But I mean, when people tell me, or if I can sense that someone's not comfortable with it, I do. Maybe depending on who it is and where I am, I will at least tone it down, if not
Yeah.
completely stop. Because there
Yeah.
are
Sure.
some people where I may know that they're kind of uncomfortable, but I'm just kind of like, I won't do it as bad, but kind of like, fuck them, dude. I'm not going to completely stop.
Exactly.
But then there's other people where if they're uncomfortable, I would completely stop. There's been times I've actually apologized when I've realized it and brought it out. Not only
Yeah.
stopped, but brought it out. But I mean, I really apologize for
Yeah.
my language if I've offended you or anything. But
Yeah.
then there,
Exactly.
I guess the ones that I wouldn't stop for and I just tone it down. I guess I don't care if I offend them, to be honest, because who cares if you're offended? I'm sorry, and that's another thing,
Yeah.
dude. I'm sorry, but why does it? So you're offended? I'm sorry that you're offended.
I
I
know.
really
You
am, but I
shouldn't.
don't give a fuck.
At the same time, it's that you shouldn't be sorry for being who you are. That's kind of what's wrong with this world. They feel like they have to protect people that
Mm,
easily get offended. When in
yeah,
all reality, that person should be able to be like, I don't care what that person says. I'm me and I love me.
sticks and stones.
Yeah, sticks and
Whatever happened
stones.
to that?
I remember that, just saying it a million times as a kid. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Yep,
And that's how it should be.
yep.
You know, your skin should be thick by the time you get to, especially I'd say high school age.
Oh yeah,
You
you got
know,
high school. You gotta be, dude.
if not, I'm not sure you're going to do very good in the world when you
No.
leave. It's going to be a problem for you because there's a lot of people that will use your softness and then put you down. They will use that to build themselves up, and they'll get further ahead and just bully you into a lower spot.
Yeah.
They'll use that as a weakness. You can't have that kind of weakness. I wouldn't think. I don't like to have it.
We're raising pussies in this country now, Drew.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
That sure
It
is what it
does.
feels like. Well,
Want to coddle them? No.
it's like the other day I seen a meme that said, I didn't notice any participation awards at the Olympics this year.
That's brilliant, dude. That is brilliant. So true.
Because I think, and I was talking about this the other day with my father-in-law, and I think he's right. I think when you're younger, there shouldn't be any score kept, and everyone should get a participation ribbon just because you're super young, like T-ball, stuff like that. Just because you came, you get something like an actual trophy, even just to entice you back, But as you get older, you should also be teaching them to learn to lose gracefully,
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about that earlier with with Hope from the soccer team.
Yeah.
But
good job.
But no, that's. But no, I just feel like when I was a kid, I didn't get participation trophies, and I didn't care. What it really made me want to do is be better to get the first place trophy or second place trophy.
Yeah.
Or third for that matter. But that's, I think, as far as it ever went. But I don't know, it just made me want to do better. If you can't handle that, you're not going to handle not getting a job very well.
Yeah.
Things like that. I mean, it's just crazy to think that that's where we want our kids to think their priorities are, is getting rewarded for not winning or doing poorly.
Right.
Are they going to start giving out a, well, you tried for an F on a test?
Right.
I mean, well, we're going to give you the R. It's a, well, you really tried,
That's brilliant. So, say one of your sons brings home a participation trophy. Would you allow him to keep it?
Well, it just depends on what he was participating in, I guess. Is he participating in becoming an astronaut? Because I'd let him keep that trophy. That's a pretty awesome thing to do. And
yes, it is. Yes, it is, man. I'd let, if I had kids, I'd let my kid keep that one too. Never thought of that.
But if it was, say, coach pitch, or if it was, for me, my first basketball where we were in a team 7th grade basketball participation, I don't think so. I mean, I'd tell them why they hand them out. And I'd congratulate him for participating every game.
Yeah.
I'd tell him why he did great in every game. He doesn't need that trophy to say, hey, wait, well done. Your coach at the end of the year should at least do a little something for you, or say something, or at least, team pictures and stuff like that will have you remember that you participated.
Yeah.
But no, I think that what they should do instead of that is possibly give awards at the end of the year for, like, the best at, the best first baseman, for instance. I mean, that's a little bit too many, maybe, awards, but maybe, the most strikeouts.
Right.
Even though it might not be somebody that got on first place team, that's somebody that did the best, which they do those awards in professional leagues and stuff. The Golden Glove, for instance, is that award. But yeah, I just think that would be better to show that even though you're not number one on the number one team, we are paying attention to who's playing and how good you're doing.
Yeah.
And everyone has a chance to win something. It's just you have to actually do something good, to still earn it. It's not whether it's first or second. It's whether you're first at, errors, the least amount of errors in the season, or whatever it may be, least turnovers in basketball, or, most catches in football, something like that. I think that'd be better if you're wanting to add awards. But that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Nothing I ever say will probably ever happen in reality. It's like going to the fair. When talking about cussing, and not cussing. That's going to the Great Dark County Fair. Of course, it's extremely crowded on a weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, you want to take the kids to let them experience it. But our infant, Lennon, he was just not having it. Not having it at all. Maybe he just didn't like the crowd, but it was breezy, it was loud, there's a ton of people. And then everybody, I swear, everybody just, this one old couple, it was hilarious. They're walking in front of you, knowing full well the place is packed. There's someone right behind them, obviously. But every time they'd start talking, they'd stop right in the middle of the Medway. And they'd just stop right to where, I mean, these are little people to me, they're little old people. And if you stopped abruptly like that, and I'm not paying attention, okay, I'm going to lay you down on accident, and that's no good. So when I'm stopping and I'm almost tripping every time they're wanting to say something, it gets a little frustrating. So that was the only time I said something, but I didn't cuss, of course. I just said, well, I guess, or I hope that when I'm older, I'll be able to walk and talk.
And as I started laughing, my first thought was like, who's going to listen to this and at that point be like, those are a couple of assholes because we're laughing about talking smack to old people, but I'm sorry.
30 years before, they were saying the same things, walking through the same Medway.
Yes.
And I'll be them same people where I just don't care that you're standing behind me, but I will say that there's one guy with a group of his family had appeared, and he's pushing a lady in a wheelchair. And we were on the main Medway, the main road. So he actually stopped, and there was a gap, but he stopped. And normally people don't do that there. They just cut you off, more or less, like you weren't even there, you're nobody. But he stopped and watched, and I stopped and let him go. He's pushing a lady in a wheelchair, obviously.
Yeah.
But, and like I told my wife, I said, now if people did that every time, I'd let everyone in front of me. Everyone. I don't care how long it would take me at that point in time. Because it's about respect and manners at that point in time to me.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what we don't have while cussing on this podcast here. But you know what? I respect you, you respect me, and it's us talking. So
yeah. And I respect other people, like, to a point.
Oh, I do too.
Just kind of, and the only way I can really say it, which is funny, is just to be like, kind of, I don't give a fuck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And it really just boils down to that.
But I just feel like the fair, and of course, I'm not a huge fan of big crowds either. But I just feel like there's a disrespect to getting in someone's bubble.
Yeah.
Like just cutting someone off when you're just standing off to the side. You just walk out in front of them.
Right.
I don't know. It drives me nuts. Makes me want to cuss. I'll tell you that right now.
True.
But I'm in a family place, so I won't. And that's pretty much the gist of this Ain't No Family Show, Wade.
Man, well, I got to think about it. I don't know. We'll figure it out, and I don't know.
Well, at least not every episode's a family episode.
True.
There will be topics, I'm sure, that will not be family-oriented exactly.
Very true. Well, I guess we'll find out next week.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm Jay, and that's Drew, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, have a good night.
Peace.